What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to PlayStation Generation, episode 76. My name is Matt, and I'll be your host for today's events. As always, I'm joined by the PlayStation Hokage himself, Mr. Rice. Boy, what's up, Rice?
Nice to see you, Matt.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been a
1 week since you
doozy,
looked at
but we're
me.
here.
Then I'm angry.
Yeah, we're here, man. We out
we,
here. Let's talk
we,
about some stuff.
we out here. Denny is hiding in bushes and jumping out at kids. I know it's not Halloween
Yes.
yet, but evidently that's where he decided to be tonight instead of hanging out with us. So
Celebration.
that be what Denny do. On this
That's
week's
right.
show, we're going to be talking all about Halo. We're going to talk about some Battlefield. We're going to talk about some Marvel, some Korean
Mm,
mythology, and plenty more. So
yeah.
strap in and prepare thyselves for the show of a lifetime, lifetime, lifetime,
Oh,
lifetime. But before we do all that, Rice, my dude, what's been keeping you
yeah.
busy this last week, my friend? What
Yeah,
you been
absolutely.
playing?
I have been playing, trying to be trying to give each game the same kind of attention, but I'm playing Yote still,
Mm-hmm.
Borderlands 4, as
Mm-hmm.
well as Pokemon ZA,
Yep.
and
Yeah, there.
just kind of rotating between the three, which evidently has me not completing any of them. But the great thing is that I'm actually having a great time with all three titles. So yeah, I'm still working through those and having a great time.
Just spreading the love, my dude. Just a
Yeah,
little bit here, a little bit there.
that's
Um,
right.
I finished Pokemon this week as well, so I
Right on.
feel ya.
Yeah,
I liked it so much more than I thought I was going to coming into
it
it.
grew on me.
To the point where I think it's one of I think it might be a top 5 this year for me. And I wasn't expecting it to kind of settle like that
Mhm.
for myself, but I'm really really enjoying it. Well, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to go back in to kind of clean up what I missed. Um but for I had a pretty solid 30 some odd hours with it, and really enjoyed it.
I like the mechanics.
They're
It's
fun.
new. Yeah, it was fun
Story
for me.
is and story is surprisingly good. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but for a Pokemon game, I think it's kind of it takes the series in some interesting directions that I don't think it
Yeah,
has really gone in
true.
before. Um Kind of I know we've had direct sequels, but they've been so few and far between, and they haven't really dealt with the fallout of past games, and this
Yeah,
pretty intimately plays with X and Y and everything that happened in those games.
true.
Um in a really cool way. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. How's the
Yeah.
Yote how's the Yote revenge train going?
I am just having a great time. I at first was trying to pressure myself into finishing the story.
Mhm.
But right now I'm really just enjoying kind of the open world activities. I mean, the bounties feel great and they feel meaningful and also just the discovery, kind of the general discovery while traversing the open world has been really satisfying. And like you said before, everything kind of it feels rewarding and it feels like you are progressing in some way, shape, or form, whether that's upping a skill tree um I particularly like the wolf den missions.
Mhm.
Just this like really cool kind of like interaction that you're having with this wolf and building that relationship with them. So yeah, I'm having a great time and not really putting too much pressure. But I think that this next week is gonna be that
Yote week.
pressure to finish a couple games, yeah, so it's
Hell
coming.
yeah. Once you're done Yote, let's sit down and do a spoiler cast. I
Let's
want to
do
talk
it.
about the story. We'll have a little chit chat about our
Yeah,
thoughts and feelings about the entire narrative and everything. Once Rice finishes up. As for myself, as I mentioned, I finished Pokemon. And I started a game called the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. It's
okay.
not on PlayStation though. I'd be shocked if it doesn't make its way here. It's
Mhm.
by 2Kyo Games, which is the studio created by the creator of Danganronpa. So for anybody who's played any of those games, all fantastic. All three of those games are amongst my favorite of all time, with the third one just getting so crazy meta in a way that's just like that. Those games are batshit insane.
Right.
And this one, I've heard it came out earlier this year. I've heard so many people talking about it, about being like this is like a game of the year contender. Like for many, it
Mm,
is their game of the year that I've
okay.
played it. But the kind of central thing is that your students at this school, obviously, it's a Japanese visual novel slash tactics game where like half most of the time you're having conversations, kind of spending time at the school, and the other portion of the time you're in kind of these like Fire Emblem style battles. Um, but there's 100 endings
Whoa.
where and like some of them are very very short, some of them are very
Sure.
long, but like from what I've heard from people that have finished all of them, there are like, given the fact that there are 100 endings, the fact that like not two of them are like very similar, and they all spin
Mhm.
off, apparently they spin off in like crazy wild directions and completely change shit. So it's like I don't know, I am not a person that's a completionist. I'm not somebody that I think will see
Right.
through all 100 endings, but I'm gonna kind of dig through at least a few to kind of fuck around with it, because from what I've heard, it's pretty incredible. And like anybody who sees it visually, if you play Danganronpa, or you're familiar with those games, it looks exactly like a Danganronpa game, from like
Sure.
from the character design to the way that like you move through the school and the way that you like kind of interact with the characters. It'll be like a classroom, and like you'll all these almost like kind of like 2D pop-ups of these characters around as they're talking and fucking around. There's like
Mhm.
again, just like there was in Danganronpa, there's like another mascot character that's obviously running the show here.
Yeah.
It's really fucking cool so far. I'm pretty early on. I'm only I would say probably 3 or 4 hours in. But I'm really vibing with it so far. It was a game that I was like, I need to play this before GOTY, because I need to have this in my, played games this year as someone who's a big fan of the
Oh,
creator.
yeah.
Um, really enjoying it so far. I hope it comes to PlayStation sooner rather than later, so folks can check it out. I'm sure I'd be shocked if it didn't next year. I think it's on like Switch and PC right now. I'm playing it on my Switch. But having a blast with it, dude. It's really cool.
I
It's
hope that you would I mean, I'm sure completionists will do this anyway, but I would hope that you would be rewarded somehow or at least gain some, kinda award or trophy or
I'd assume that there is some
commendation.
sort of like true ending if you see the majority, if not all of these
Got it.
endings through. I'm sure that there's something there. I haven't looked into it because I don't want to know
Of course.
until I feel like I'm kind of done with the game.
Mhm.
But from what I've heard, like friend of the show Hayes, again, loved this game. A number of other people did, that said like these, like some of the places that these endings and these kind of different branching path lines go are so wildly ridiculously different that like
Mm.
it seems pretty cool.
That's awesome. Love that for you, man.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to keep going. Plenty more still to come over the course of the next, couple months before we round the year out. So please
You're
be excited for more stuff.
we
All right, my dude.
excited.
Let's
Y'all.
talk some news. And let's
Let's
just
do
kick
it.
things off with the big one, because this is going to
Uh-huh.
be a conversation.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of coming in a little hot and bothered.
Okay.
This is coming from PlayStation blog. Show on stream. That's what I want. Halo Campaign Evolved launches on PS5 in 2026. This is coming from Brian Sketch Gerard, who is the community director at Halo Studios. I've had the honor of working on Halo for the last nearly 2 decades. Today's announcement is one I'll never forget. Halo is coming to PlayStation. For nearly 25 years,
Mm.
Halo has offered blah, 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 blah. Halo Campaign Evolved is a remake of the first game, from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5, I believe. It's a complete rework. They're adding stuff like sprinting and some other stuff to the combat mix. Apparently, there's some new levels, some new weapons that are also being included in all this. So this is quite the rework. And of course, the co-op's going to be back. There's going to be 4-player split screen
Which is
PvP.
crazy.
Also, 4-player online co-op or
Which
2-player
is
couch
crazy.
co-op, which is crazy, with cross play and cross progression across console and PC. Coming in 2026, launching day and date on PS5 with the promise of more to come. There was a quote running around that basically said, "Halo is now on PlayStation. This is another home for this series now." And before I kick off, Rice, I wanted to kind of throw it to you first to hear what you think and your kind of thoughts and reactions. By the way, shout out real quick, just because it just hit my mind. Shout out Court. It's his birthday today. We
Happy
love you
birthday,
lots,
Court.
buddy. We miss you. We look forward to seeing you later this year for our GOTY episode, because that'll be hype. But
Yeah.
happy birthday to the king, to the big dog himself. But
The
yeah,
big
Rice,
dog.
Halo, campaign evolved. Hit me with those thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, man. I saw it and it was immediate. The immediate thought was like, it happened. We talked about this, and we knew that it was down the pipeline. We predicted that this was going to happen, and we didn't like we kinda dabbled with how okay, let's talk about some pros.
Sure.
More people will get to play a franchise that is very beloved.
Mhm.
This game has so many memories, associated with it for me,
Mhm. Same.
and love that some other people will get to experience that. But that's that's where that kind of, that thought ends. Like, there is some excitement around, like, okay, well, what changes would they make? Like, me being a fan of the Halo franchise, of course, I'm going to be curious. Of course, I'm going to check this out. Uh, but this even in my own Discord server has created a lot of discourse
Mhm.
in that a lot of people who had kind of dedicated their well, invested their time and their money in the Xbox uh, ethos,
Mhm.
perhaps
Ecosystem.
feel uh, the ecosystem feel a little bit invalidated, not a little bit, a lot of bit
Mhm.
invalidated. And it's tough. It's really tough to rectify, that group of people. And while it could be exciting, it also dilutes kind of the exclusivity conversation. I mean, there's also been a lot of other news around Xbox with this new premium console that they're boasting that's going to be expensive.
Mhm.
Uh, I think that it was quoted that it would be more expensive than the next PlayStation.
Mhm.
Uh, and cater to that, right? And so there are just a lot of questions as to what what's going to happen with Xbox and what really is the goal here.
Mhm.
With the statement of 30% profit margins. Uh Crazy.
Mhm.
So a lot of discourse, a lot of concern, especially for people who are hardcore Xbox fans.
Mhm.
Uh, and there's a lot of people jumping ship.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people jumping ship. So, I mean, I've kind of veered off here. I kind of veered off here, but please, give me your take on Halo being on the PS5.
Okay. I have no problem with games proliferating across different ecosystems. I would have no
Yes,
problem with The Last of Us coming to Xbox or Nintendo, wherever else. These are inherently game preservation and accessibility things, where the more people that can play them in different ways, it lets people play where they want to at their own clip and in whatever way they can or they want to.
sure.
I don't have an issue with that. I think anybody who's in the Xbox fandom that is upset at this point, are you surprised? I mean, Gears
Yeah, this was
already
the
hit.
trajectory.
We would like they've told us very loudly over the course of the last couple of years that this is the way that they were going.
Mhm.
Um, so while I do feel like it maybe I don't know, does it feel like seeing an ex with a new partner? You know what I mean? Like, is that the kind of feel here? Because I do understand it.
Sure, sure.
It's a brand identity that they bought into for a long time, but I do think that there's larger problems here. I think sure the game looks cool. Halo now being on PlayStation, there's a number of people who maybe somehow never played it, a newer generation that never got to experience it. It's been on Xbox for so long that for so many people who were predominantly PlayStation players, whether that they joined in the PS3, PS4 generation, so on and so forth, who never had an Xbox, who never played the Master Chief Collection on PC, it is a way to do that.
Yes.
There are bigger issues around this game that I
That
take
I take
problem
pro
with, and that I take issue with.
Yeah,
Um,
tell me.
it seems like this game is using generative AI. They
Heard this.
haven't outright confirmed anything, but they're talking around it in a way that's like, it's a tool in the toolbox. Um, and there's situation there's a couple clips that are going around where you hear like a line of spoken dialogue, um, and it sounds like shit. It's not even like they used AI, generative AI, and it sounds incredible and whatever. It sounds awful. Like it's not like a computer that's voicing this line. It is a human, character in the game, and it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Um, AI across video games and across arts and across, the entire world as a whole right now is a hot topic. It's one that we know
We know it.
we know it's killing the environment. We know it shreds the environment for us to run these machine learning models and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it kicks creatives to the curb in a really visceral way. Microsoft and Halo Studios is like what, like $1 trillion or like many $billion company, and
Mm.
you couldn't bring in people to voice a couple of fucking lines of dialogue to be able to, to kind of honor the legacy of your own, flagship tentpole franchise. You're telling me you didn't have the money or the time?
Yeah.
For a lot
Wild.
of voice actors, when you're starting out, this is how you build credits.
Yeah.
This is how you start to build a profile. You're taking opportunities from away from people who are hardworking and who are looking
Yeah.
for any sort of break to to foundationally become a part of this industry or other. And you're taking those opportunities away from them because you're looking to save an hour or save a quick buck. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not some small indie developer that doesn't have the budget or the time to be able to put, to be able to get people to come in to voice some fucking, background dialogue or whatever. It's stupid.
3.89 trillion, by the way.
Thank you.
Crazy.
There's a larger conversation about Microsoft and the layoffs and these, like you mentioned, the 30% profit lines that they're expected to fill. If this, I feel like there's a lot of people in this space who I've seen vocally against AI,
Yeah.
and kind of been saying, if a game, and not necessarily Halo specifically, but a lot of fuck AI, this is the kind of stuff that we won't support. I think this is really going to be the first major testing ground for a lot of people.
Think so.
Halo is a beloved franchise. It's a beloved game. It does look cool from the work that's been done. I'm not belittling the work that's been done by the people there,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people who said that they wouldn't support any game that has AI. So when
Sure.
this comes out, it is going to be interesting to see the people that genuinely kind of
True.
fold and don't. Because if Microsoft gets away with this, if there are stories that, if this doesn't kind of proliferate and we don't get a confirmation, and people who are unaware otherwise buy into Halo Campaign Evolved, knowing that it supports and uses AI,
Mm.
it's going to show Microsoft and others that they can get away with it.
They
And
can get
that's
away with
when
it,
we
right.
start to see a fundamental shift in this industry as it starts to backslide.
I
These things
see.
obviously exist. They,
Yeah.
they will continue to exist, but it is voting with our wallet and with our time as to show what we as consumers are willing to do and put up with and whatever.
Right.
Um, there's I think it's ridiculous. There was other conversations that I saw going around about how there was a section of gameplay shown where there was somebody driving like a warthog,
Mhm.
um, and there was like one of the OG artists and like level environmental level designers chimed in, being like, there used to be rocks there. You used to not be able to kind of move your warthog through there because there was a
Right.
pacing mechanism. You were supposed to get out and go through the next encounter without the
Right.
warthog, and now they took those rocks away. You can blast through and kind of ram enemies willy-nilly with the thing. These are the kinds of changes that fundamentally change how these games were designed and how these games were looked at.
Mhm.
For what reason?
For what? Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a lot of problems with Halo Campaign Evolved
Mhm.
because this should be a very cool moment. This should
It
be
should be.
a celebratory moment of being like, Halo is now on PlayStation. All of these foundational memories that you and
Right.
I have had growing up playing this series, while it will never be the same, those nights that we spent, sitting on couches, till Lord knows what time as kids, those kind of such, foundational memories can never be replicated across things. But those might be memories that new kids will have
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
experience. It is unfortunate that this is what we're getting. It is unfortunate that it
Yeah.
is one that is built with AI, at least from what we've seen so far. And again, if this comes out and it turns out to be not true, that's fine. But the way that they're talking about
Yeah.
it and the language that they're using is very much so that they're trying to not muddy the water before this comes out. And I think that's even worse.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been talking a lot about Microsoft's decisions and why mass layoffs happened and the trajectory of everything leading up to this moment of Halo 5 or Halo campaign evolved has been pointing towards this
Mhm.
conversation. Whether or not it's confirmed, it's very scary. And even now, like the joy that we're supposed to feel, you know, like LAN parties, those memories, and just the great stuff that came from this kind of this franchise and what it did for gaming in general
Mhm.
is all of a sudden tainted with this lifeless
Mhm.
poison and injection into our veins. So yeah, you're right. It will be interesting to see how this full unfolds, and I certainly hope that it does not enable a larger conversation that unfortunately puts people out of jobs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's and like and again, we've seen Microsoft do it. They've been one of the worst offenders, and I'm not saying that Sony is spotless. I'm not saying that like,
No.
PlayStation hasn't done its fair share of layoffs, and I'm not saying that like this might be a bridge that we come to, and I'm kind of sure it will be at some point or the other with PlayStation as well, and their first party studios using some form of AI. But at this point in time, as far as we know, it hasn't happened and it's not happening.
Right.
This Xbox is very loudly coming out and showcasing their tentpole Xbox franchise
Mm,
and including the use of AI
yes.
at a time where they've cut thousands upon thousands upon thousands of jobs at a time where they've you know made stupid business decision after stupid business decision and a very real in very real ways affected people's lives
Yes.
and for them to kind of be like, oh, it's just a tool in the toolbox. No, it's not. Get fucked. Like, you
Yeah.
could very
Yeah.
easily bring people in to voice these
Mhm.
lines. You could very easily spend the but again, they don't want to 30% profit margins, and they're going to do
Do
whatever they're
whatever
going
they're
to
going to
do
do.
to get people to buy in.
Yeah.
So I will say this right now. I do not support this shit. I will not be playing Halo
Mm,
campaign involved. If this turns out to be
mhm.
true,
Yes.
you can I will be voting with my wallet and I will be bouncing the
Yep.
fuck out because there
Yep.
are fundamental problems here that shouldn't
Mm.
just be ignored and shouldn't just be passed by for the sake of running through Halo again. Play the Master Chief collection.
Right.
I'm
Right.
sure that's coming. There's no doubt in my
Mhm.
fucking mind that that thing's going to be on PlayStation sooner rather than later. But
Absolutely.
right now, they want you to pay full price for the new big shiny thing.
Of course. Of
So
course.
it's I, you know, it sucks because again, like this is something that you and I, we had talked about so much with Denny and with Court over the last couple of years,
With
and how much
excitement.
we would, yeah, with excitement. We were talking about how
Yeah, how
cool it was
cool
to have
was that
Gears here,
years?
how much we were looking forward to, and like theorizing dates and times when Halo would kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that we're having this conversation instead of one
Yeah.
of excitement and looking forward to what the future looks like. It's one that's
A
just like,
bummer.
is this the first kind of shot across the bow where
Yeah.
AI starts to really worm its way in a very visceral and fundamental way?
Yeah.
And are we going to be the industry that lets it happen? You know?
Right. Right. I think that we really owe it to ourselves and to gaming as a whole to do our research and to continue really being informed on how these games are being developed because truly I wasn't expecting Halo to come back like this.
Same.
So to have it so weirdly presented, let's say, is not a good look. So I would encourage anyone that is listening to this and to maybe looking into all of the discourse and all of the excitement and all of the problematic things to really, really do their research.
Mhm. And we're at a point now where you kind of have to because like I said, if this does well, all this does is send the message that other companies can get away with it
Yeah.
too.
And
And
that
we're
we
I
are a
we're
problem,
Go ahead.
that we are a part of it, that we
Mhm.
are completely part of the problem.
And we're gonna see EA do it, especially with their new, with their new back, with their new fundamental, with
Yes.
their new monetary backing. We're
Mhm.
going to see more and more of this. And if we want this shit, like, did you see that fucking clip that was going around on Blue Sky of some tech bro posted on Twitter being like, "This is what AI gaming is going to look like. How cool!" And it was one of those jankiest, broken fucking things I've ever seen in my life. And it's just like
Yeah.
this is this is what you're kind of hanging
This
your
is
hat
what we're
on.
looking forward to?
Like,
Really?
get fucked, dude. Like, all of these
Mm.
companies have more than enough money to be able to put these things together in ways that
Nope.
stop chasing live service, stop doing shit that like fundamentally affects the people that work for you. Because all you're
Yeah.
doing is chasing people out of an industry. And then when all of this runs out to the bottom, it's just a giant race to the bottom.
Mhm.
who's going to be left here to support the shit?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
It'll become lifeless. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you know, we'll see. We'll see what the fuck happens. We'll keep everybody posted as we find out more about Halo campaign
Yes.
involved. Um, but I do think that this is an important one to keep your eye on. And I
Agreed.
do think we'll kind of see how things shake out as we get closer to this.
Mhm.
Let's stay on this PlayStation train that we love and know so well because written by Console Creatures. This was written by shit. Who wrote this thing? I'm going all the way down. Was it Bobby? Was it Bobby?
It
No,
was
it was
Bobby.
Luke.
Oh.
Shout out Luke who put this one together because PlayStation Canada X OVO launches today. PlayStation's Canadian arm recently partnered with one of Canada's most exclusive fashion lines to reimagine the gaming company's iconic aesthetic. OVO, October's very own, of course, Drake's fashion line. Partnered with PlayStation for a whole line here. You can see $68 for a white shirt with a blue owl on it. Some wireframe stuff here as well. This is just OVO branding with
Sorry.
some blue. I will say this one is probably
The
my
sweater
favorite.
looks kind of fire, but
It does look kind of fire, but I'm not spending $228 on
no
a
way.
shirt.
No way.
Race,
Oh.
tell me thoughts and feelings.
Guys, I don't know. I've never I haven't ever bought a piece of OVO gear.
Me neither, bro.
Uh,
And after what happened last year, with the rap battle and everything else, you will not catch me fucking dead in any OVO shit.
Listen, man, whoever, I'm not judging anyone. No. I am, I am a little bit.
The thing is, though, is that like it would be one thing if we were kind of looking at this like shit. Yeah, I mean, like it's maybe a little bit problematic, but those designs are kind of fire, though. They're kind of whatever, in my opinion. They're not that nice. They're fine, but
I mean, like, it's the whole conversation, like, Lacoste. Like, let's just take a plain, solid polo T-shirt and then put a little crocodile on it and up that price tag.
Yeah,
and that's how I kind of feel about the owl and the OVO line, because like this could have been a really cool opportunity for artists to get involved with the collaboration,
yeah.
and really pull through and pull something really cool and visually stunning. And I just don't think that's it. So I'm not really hyped about it.
Yeah, like putting the brand aside, I think you're right. Can you imagine if they got some like local Toronto, artists and like legends in the industry here to kind of make OVO inspired PlayStation design? Like that'd be so fucking cool. But
so cool.
which, I mean, to be fair, we don't know if that's what happened or not. But like these to me look a little cookie cutter for this kind of collaboration.
Perhaps it's also my bias in knowing very talented artists that could have delivered something much more engaging and much more appealing, at least for me.
Mm-hmm. Same. All right, dude. Let's do one more shitty story and then kind of round out the show. Continue the show with some happiness because Ubisoft Studio Massive Entertainment announces layoffs coming from Dennis, the homie over here at Console Creatures. Ubisoft's division developer Massive Entertainment, behind recent releases like Star Wars Outlaws and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, has announced that the studio will be hit by unspecified numbers of layoffs in what it's calling a quote-unquote voluntary career transition program that was initially reported by French news site Le Figaro, according to a statement via Noble on Bluesky. There's a statement that basically goes on that they're looking to kind of help people move on while they remain fully committed to their roadmap and to crafting great experiences for players around the world, including the Division 2, the Division 2 Survivors, the Division Resurgence, and the Division 3. It's not so coincidental that this is all coming after the official launch of Ubisoft's Tencent-backed subsidiary, Vantage Studios, which will look to oversee the French publishers of three major franchises, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six Siege. I just realized I didn't pull this on stream, maybe. More fucking layoffs, dude.
Yeah. That's a bummer. Yeah, please go on.
Like I don't mean to say it like this, but like I was worried about Massive after Outlaws and the reception that it had, and Avatar again, not from what I know, from what I remember, not also kind of lighting the world on fire in the way that Ubisoft was clearly looking for both of these both of these games to kind of do. They were obviously expecting a lot from both Avatar and Star Wars. And while I did like Outlaws to an extent, I did think it had some issues, but I do think there was a good game in there that was worth playing.
Mhm.
Um, I have not played Avatar, but
I have.
it's unfortunate that Massive is taking the hit. I mean, and again, more people are
Yeah.
losing their jobs, and especially like Dennis kind of mentioned in the article here. This is coming obviously right after the launch of Vantage Studios, which is a no 10-cent thing. Which again, I'm sure they're going to be looking at everything else in their portfolio that isn't Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. And I don't think this is the end of these cuts across the board.
Sure.
Interesting way to announce the Division 3, though.
Yeah. So it's just a smaller team. And like what do we have to look, and that said, like the Division 2 has done quite well over time.
Mhm.
What does that mean really for the future? Uh and not even really so much for the game, like I ask, because so many layoffs all the time. This is just the general trend at this point. And so as a like as a whole in the industry, why
Mhm.
are we, why are we experiencing so many layoffs? That begs the question. And the trajectory always leans towards common conversation.
More money for shareholders, more
No money.
funding for people who don't give a shit about the art form that we care so much about. Um, our hearts go out to all the developers that are obviously affected by this. It sucks. Hope you land on your feet and stay in this fucking shit show of an industry.
Yeah.
There's far too much talent that's been lost over the last couple of years, and I'm sure a lot of people have just exited the industry because what the fuck is the point? You make a good game, you get laid off. You make a bad game, you get laid off. You make no game, you get laid off. Um,
Support
but
indie, everyone.
support indie, everyone. Let's talk about a kind of fucking trailer that hit out of nowhere this week, but one that's sure to end Rice's marriage. Korean mythology inspired RPG Project Tal gets a new look. This is again coming from Console Creatures written by Luke. Korean gaming names We Made Max and Mad Engine now have a debut trailer and screenshots for Project Tal. They're deeply story-driven single-player and open-world RPG that leaps from the pages of Korean mythology. There was a 2-minute demo here, very much giving off kind of Dragon's Dogma 2 vibes. A lot of really, really beautiful stuff being shown here. Rice, talk to me.
Dude. And like, and when you first compared it to Dragon's Dogma, I checked out that trailer and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then even more than that, it's flashy, it's beautiful. Combat looks absolutely stunning. These larger than life enemies and creatures that you're fighting. Oh man, and the team dynamics as well. Like absolutely this is going to get me in trouble in my marriage, but I gotta play this one for sure, bro.
Well, dude, with the amount of time and that you sunk onto Dragon's Dogma 2, I'd be surprised if this one doesn't kind of top your charts right away. Uh,
Absolutely.
I'm I'm so into this as somebody
Yes.
obviously who lived in Korea and loves the culture and a lot of stuff. All
Mhm.
stuff Korea. I'm very very excited for this. I'm somebody who hopped into Dragon's Dogma 2. The kind of hype bit me, and I dove in and ended up loving my time with it for a game that like wouldn't traditionally be a very Mac game. I had a blast with it.
Right.
Um, and so that's like this set in this kind of Korean mythology for these like larger than life battles. And again, single player
Yeah,
RPG, you are speaking my language.
absolutely.
I'm hoping that this is going to be a premium product and not a free to play game. I'm
Yep,
hoping
yep.
that there isn't going to be any gotcha with like the rest of your teammates and shit. This is
Yeah,
my hope. I will my excitement will drop off a cliff if that turns out to be the case. But I feel like in this day and age, we got to be a little more nervous than excited across the
yep.
board here. But I think this looks stunning. I think the gameplay looks great. I think the combat looks awesome. The moment where like they do the attack and they flip off and their comrade like catches them
Oh,
with somebody else holding the
oh,
shield. Just so many cool fucking moments in this trailer.
yes.
And of course continuing the tradition of PlayStation dropping great fucking stuff in the middle of the week
Yeah.
on a random day with like no
Nothing. It's shadow
nothing.
dropping like what? Like what? It's like Kendrick,
Yeah.
Combat Battle dropping on a Tuesday, bro. Like what?
it's like the middle of the day, like no fanfare, no celebration about this. Like this was a great trailer, a
Yes,
genuinely fantastic trailer, and it's just like, where was the spotlight for this shit? This is
I
cool as
know,
hell,
I know. I got really excited when I watched it, man. And
man.
more gore. Oh,
Yeah.
and faster pace too. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
give it to me.
So it looks fantastic. I'm very very excited about Project Tal.
Yes.
Cannot wait to hear more. I'm assuming this is at least a good couple of years away, but count me locked in for whenever we find out more. For something that's not a couple of years away and is much more imminent, we are got the release date of Marvel Cosmic Invasion launching December 1st. This is, of course, written by Bobby the Don himself, working at Console Creatures. Tribute Games and Dot Emo revealed that Marvel Cosmic Invasion is set to launch on December 1st, 2025. In addition
Mm,
to the launch date, Phoenix and Invincible Iron Man are confirmed as playable characters. They join the likes of Captain America, She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Storm, Phyla Bell, Venom, Nova, Black Panther, Beta Ray Bill, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Silver Surfer to a total of 15 playable characters in Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
sheesh.
Bro, I am so hyped for this
This is
game.
crazy. This is crazy.
My partner is not a massive video game person, but she loves these kind of uh, you know, scrolling beat 'em ups.
Yeah.
We played not Streets of War, Streets of Fire?
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage. Oh my god. My brain is broken today. Yeah, Streets of Rage, we played Streets of Rage 4. We played Scott Pilgrim. We played a bunch of these, and like
Yeah,
again,
man.
she likes Marvel. We watch all the movies together. This is
Mhm.
100% up our alley. I'm very stoked to play this with her.
It's funny you mentioned that. Beck and I also played Streets of Rage. Also like was that Ninja Turtles one, Shredder's Revenge. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Shredder's Revenge as well. Yeah, yeah.
totally, man. We love this stuff. We love this stuff. Be able to just like sit on the couch and beat some stuff up, man. I'm excited for this
Mhm.
as well. What an art style. I'm glad that this art style
Gorgeous.
has really just like stood the test of time. I'm glad that this still exists, and I'm really excited to play this. Holy crap. And how many
Well,
characters you say?
15.
15. Let's freaking go.
Though I will say, I obviously Iron Man is a lock in a Marvel game. I do
Sure.
wish a couple of these characters were a little more obscure cosmic characters.
Sure.
Like, do we need Iron Man and Cap in a cosmic game?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Phoenix makes sense.
Yep.
Cosmic Ghost
Totally.
Rider, a niche, new, cool as fuck inclusion. It's again
Mhm.
Spider Man as well. As much as I'm a massive Spider Man fan, there is a couple of these characters that I'm like, yeah, it's cool that they're there. I kind of wish we got some other characters in their slots,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. I'm very very stoked on this. I cannot wait to play this. Just a month and a bit away.
Yeah, let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go, my dude. Let's
This would
freaking
also
go.
be a good one to stream with
This would
yeah,
be a good
with
one
you.
to stream.
This one would be fun.
This one would be fun. Let's do it. Staying here on Console Creatures, written by once again Bobby the Don
Let's go,
himself.
Bobby.
We are getting more Tales of series remasters on their way. Yusuke Tomizawa was interviewed in the latest issue of Famitsu discussing the Tales series and its future. According to Ryo Kutia 2089 in the interview, Tomizawa reveals his team is working on 2 or more remaster projects. Um, the next one should be announced shortly, which is likely to be Tales of Xillia 2. Details are sparse, obviously, for now, because Xillia Remastered is right around the corner, coming later this week on October 31st. I am a massive Tales fan. Since Symphonia on the GameCube to many others along the way. But there is quite a few of them that I haven't played just over the course of the years. So I'm excited to have new opportunities and new ways to play them. Zillia is one that I'm not probably won't be playing at launch, but we'll probably play towards the end of November, beginning of December once things open up a little bit more. Uh, More coming. I hope they go further back. I hope they kind of dig into that well. I hope they do some stuff, some really cool stuff. This series is super special. One of the best JRPG series out there. Highly recommend folks check out the Tale series. It's just real good. It's just real good.
Hell
Have you
yeah.
played any of them, Rice?
No, we've gone down this road before, and I know that I have said that I will enter it at some point. Just the lack of time and playing multiple games that require a lot of my attention at this point. Tales of Symphonia though, the GameCube,
Yep.
um, goated
Goated.
goated experience. Like, and yeah, I loved that game so much, but I know that's just like a small fraction of the universe. So
Dude, yeah,
yeah,
Symphonia is fantastic. Vesperia is still one of my favorites. Berseria and Arise were both fantastic. I highly recommend anybody check out Arise. That was kind of like their latest, like, next gen one that came out in 2021.
right.
Fantastic. Absolute
Let's
blast.
go.
We got a couple more stories to round things out, a couple announcements and rumors. Let's go to Fallout because we are getting a Fallout 4 anniversary edition. This is coming from VGC, written by Andy Robinson. Fallout 4 is getting an anniversary edition and coming to Nintendo Switch 2. The anniversary bundle for Fallout 4 will include all 6 official add-ons and more, and also include over 150 Creation Club game mods. Bethesda announced on
Ooh.
Thursday. This is coming out right around the corner on November 10th. Available digitally and coming to Switch 2 next year. I don't care. I don't
Just
care.
gonna say, bro.
I
I'm
I
I'm
I'll preface by
already not
go
sorry.
ahead. No, pop off.
I was just gonna say I'm not really a Fallout
Same.
like stan at all. So I mean, I played a ton of Fallout 3, and that was kind of the end of my experience with Fallout. So as you were, my friend.
Yeah, no, same. I'm kind of a Bethesda hater. Um,
Yeah, you've said that.
on kind of across all of their games, and I when I say hater, I don't mean like I don't think they're like bad games or anything. They just never grabbed me. I've tried
They didn't
across
grab you, yeah.
Skyrim. I've tried across a number of, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. I've tried against across a number of these to try and like them, Starfield and the like, and
Mhm.
I just don't like them. They never grab me. Um, I don't really know if we need a Fallout 4 remaster, but again, that's kind of the name of the game of this generation. Just it is what it is,
Yeah, I really feel like this will be for like double and triple dippers at this point. Like
right?
this person has a Switch 2 because they got the Switch 2 and
Hmm.
they're like, "Okay, now you can have Fallout again. So here, buy
Sure.
it."
Or maybe if it's for people who never owned a PlayStation or Xbox, who maybe
Sure.
joined back in with the Switch. I feel like that was a lot of people's first console, whether that's returning to gaming or kind of dipping in. Whatever, it exists for people
From
that
what I
want it.
understand, the 4th installment of Fallout is pretty good. So,
I thought it wasn't like that loved.
not
Not at
by
first.
Fallout enthusiasts,
Okay.
but I mean, as like as someone kind of entering in the Fallout experience,
Hmm.
it was not that bad.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's hit one more story before we hit into some questions because Battlefield 6 might be getting its Battle Royale mode next week. This is written by Chris Scullion over at VGC. Battlefield 6 takes on Battle Royale mode, maybe arriving as soon as next week, according to a data miner. Uh, Evidently, hold on, where are we going here? Where is the actual information? Well, here we go. Somebody data mined the EA app, revealing that new content for the game, which isn't planned in the season one content. The new content is codenamed Granite, and it's expected to release on October 28th, the same day season one starts.
Mm.
So this is just 2 days away at this point. This could be coming, dude. And I gotta say, I haven't hopped into Battlefield 6 just yet. I bought it. I'm waiting for my friend who's been traveling a lot this month. We're going to be picking it up over the course of the next week or so. Um, very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about what Battlefield's Battle Royale is going to look like because this series has much been has been much more my thing. There we go, English. Than Call of Duty. So I'm excited to see what this will be like. I don't know how it's going to grab me or how long it's going to keep me, but I'm excited about the prospect.
It's honestly worth a go, especially in this hype of Battlefield right now, the fact that it
Hmm.
sold so much on its release. I'd be interested, like Warzone just like I got so burnt out from Warzone, and I know that I've said that I'm not like the biggest Call of Duty guy right now, but I still hop in because so many of my friends still play. And so at the end of the day, it's fun because of the company you're with, not necessarily because of the game.
Hmm.
I know that my friends would hate me for saying that, but
Yeah.
that's why I would jump in. So I'm interested to see how this uh will kind of remedy that problem for me. So I'm excited.
Well, that and it's good timing. The game hasn't even been out for a month yet. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of
Mhm.
hit it while the iron's hot, not 6 months later, and then drop
Yeah,
a battle
exactly.
royale mode if this is correct. Very, very curious. We'll talk about this more next week if it
Yeah.
materializes. Let's run through some questions, my friend, because we got 3 to run through here. First one coming from
Yeah.
our friend Black Wyver, writing and saying, "G'day. With the critical
Good eye.
success of Ghost of Yote, do you think we'll get a third game by Sucker Punch in the series? What time period would you like to be for it to be set in? It'll be great to set it 300 years after Yote. Thoughts?"
300 years after Yote. So what period would that be? Because I
Wouldn't that be the
actually
1900s at that point? Isn't Yote in the 1600s?
16, yeah, yeah. So then I already looked up what people thought the third game should be because I don't know actually much.
1603. So 1903. It'd be the turn of the 20th century.
Right. So there's a Reddit thread where they do talk about. I'm just going to first say I don't know much about Japanese history, so I had to do research in order to actually get a better understanding of what they could go towards.
Mhm.
And you know, since we've gotten two games that are in the samurai era, uh it seems like people would gravitate more towards, or it would make more sense to do a third if it was a final installment as the kind of end of the samurai era and how that would look like. So that would fall within the 1870s, it says. So a
So
mix of old
almost
and
300 years later.
almost 300 years later. Yeah. So that would be pretty compelling. I mean, you would likely have to move away from the sword, the katana, and or at least add in some new stuff like a rifle or
I mean, we
different
got
types
guns
of
in
weapons.
Yote.
Yeah, we got guns, bro. So it's already there. So I'd be interested to see how they would approach combat.
I would be stoked to see a third game, but I kind of think that like, and given the kind of uh narrative around Yote to some extent about it being too similar to Tsushima and kind of the same mechanically, and again once again in Japan, and they've kind of gone on record as saying that like Ghost is kind of inherently part of Japan. I
Yeah.
kind of want them to see them kind of swing for something different while still kind of honoring the heart of the series, whether that's present day. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
Whether that's like a present day Tokyo or whatever, wherever you want to set it in Japan, that's kind of uh more maybe current to kind of really differentiate it, or leave Japan entirely. You can have,
oh, interesting.
like I'm sure that there were, you know, Japanese people who lived outside of Japan even, hundreds
Totally.
of years ago. If you want to still center it around a Japanese protagonist, have them go to like, I don't know, England or London or wherever. Like,
True.
you know what I mean? Take the series and kind of do something fresh with it to kind of avoid that same
Right.
criticism. I trust them, even if like you mentioned, even if it's 1870s Japan. Once again, I mean, I
Mhm.
love Yote, I love Tsushima. I'll be sat and seated for whatever they comes that comes next. Um,
Mhm.
I just hope it's not a Ghost of Tsushima remaster on PS6. That's not what I want. That's what I don't want. But I do hope we get a third game. I do hope that they kind of
Yeah.
swing for the fences a little bit and kind of really take the series in a new direction, you
Yeah.
know?
Though I do think that's a higher bar for Sucker Punch to really top, like it's
Mm,
the even the Marvel problem of creating these more larger than life experiences with the movies. I do think that because the Ghost series is so good, it's
mhm.
already at such a high caliber. A third one being released at that same caliber would be tough.
Yeah.
So, but I think
And
they could do it. I really think they could do it.
yeah, and but at the same time, I would also be totally fine if this was the end.
If Yeah,
If they went for
agreed.
a new IP, if they went in a new direction, I would almost welcome that a little bit more for the time being because, like,
Same.
give us something new. I'd be totally
Yeah.
fine with that as well. I listen. I'll be there for whatever Sucker Punch does next. They've
Yeah.
clearly proven themselves as one of Sony's best studios, and I'll be
Agreed.
locked in for whatever comes next. Dave writes in, "What's up, Dave?" Saying, "I get my PS news and vibes from you fine peeps. Thanks, buddy.
That's
Outside of that,
awesome.
I don't know if people care that much about Halo coming to PlayStation. Is it something people want, or is it just another game at this point?" I
Great question.
and I do think that's an interesting point because obviously us old heads are excited about Halo, but does the younger generation give a shit?
You're right.
You know?
You know?
I mean, the last great Halo arguably was Reach, and that's more than a decade old at this point. Halo 4
Right.
and 5 failed to light the world on fire. Infinite didn't do that either. Do younger people give a shit, or is it just people who grew up on it like us?
I really don't think that the younger people care. This relies on nostalgia as being the seller. And whether there are new mechanics, whether there are more visually stunning moments, I think that it relies on the unks to really push these sales. So it's a good question, and given that the stuff that we were discussing earlier about generative AI, if that stuff is not true, and if people like us decide to pull the trigger on getting this game, uh yeah, we have to be the ones to kind of spread that and encourage the youngins to play it. So I don't know. It does beg that question. So I'm very, very interested to see the outcome.
I'm messaging my cousin right now who's in first year university, and I just
Okay.
messaged him. I'm saying, "Do you care that Halo's coming?" And he's a gamer. He has a PS5.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Do you care that Halo's coming? Does your generation give a shit?" So let's see if he replies before the end of the show.
I'm gonna
I
ask
wanted to.
this question on socials as well, Dave. So let's see if people respond to this question as I post it, and maybe we'll update you again next week.
We'll update again next week if we don't have an answer, before show's end. But I am curious. I think it's a good question because for a
Hmm.
lot of people, and again, especially given this generation of across the board of remakes and remasters, both on PlayStation and on Xbox,
Hmm.
um, is it another game at this point? I don't know. Dragoon
Yeah.
Arc writes in saying, if Halo isn't exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem anymore with Campaign Evolved coming to PlayStation, why do they continue to keep some titles off PlayStation, such as Clockwork Revolution and Grounded 2? Why continue to tiptoe around? Rice, what is this game that they be playing?
Uh, I think it's just a matter of time though, because Grounded is on PlayStation. Um,
The
and
first
so
one.
I yeah, the first one, not Grounded 2. I think
Yeah.
that eventually it will end up on there. Why continue to tiptoe around? I could not tell you, bro. I don't know. But for Xbox, exclusivity is no longer a priority.
I think it's this kind of weird in between that they find themselves in now where we got a comment in the chat right now from Kuga Cygnus saying that's because the studio is not capable of doing it day one. I do think that's part of it. I feel like a lot of these games have
Sure.
been in development for the last number of years, and we've only really seen Xbox take these steps in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Really, that I feel like for a lot of folks, it may be that they're focused, heads down, getting ready to get the game out on the thing. And then I have no doubt that all of these games are going to come over to PlayStation within a year or two.
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind that all of these games are coming if they're not already. Um, and like we do have less early access stuff on PlayStation, I feel like, compared to
Right.
Xbox when it comes to, and Gratitude right now isn't early access. I'm sure when the 1.0 hits, it's going to make its way into PlayStation. But for a lot of these studios, this kind of weird in between is just because they haven't had the time and development space to be able to port them
Right.
properly. I feel like as we kind of move on to releases that are, only beginning in development or maybe halfway through development now, we'll see a much more even kind of pace for things coming
Mm,
out kind of day and date. They've already confirmed Forza is not going to be day and date, but is coming again. This game is clearly close enough that they're ready to start talking about it. It could just be that these teams haven't had the time to get them off the ground or to kind of really
sure.
get those ports going yet. Um, we've seen how volatile Xbox has been. I think it was just 2 years ago that we had that whole thing with like, um, with Xbox leadership being like, we still care about exclusives, guys. Let's
Oh,
not
yeah.
be ridiculous. It's just like
Yeah.
Pentiment and a couple things that are coming. Let's not put the cart ahead of the horse here. And now they've run over that horse back and forth many times over.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just been messy messaging. I think it's been a lot of directives back and forth, and I feel like now is them saying Gears is here, Halo's here. You can expect from now on
Yeah.
this to kind of be the standard. Whether they kind of backpedal on this in a year and they're going to have exclusives for a year or whatever, who the fuck knows at this point. But I think kind of Kuga Cygnus in the chat kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
They probably haven't had time to get these things out the door properly yet. That
You
brings
know?
us to the end of the show, my friend. It's been one hell of a show.
Yeah,
Always, things have been a roller coaster the last little while, but getting down to sit down with you each and every week to talk PlayStation is one of my favorite parts of the week. So I appreciate you, Rice. Where can people see
absolutely.
and hear more from you?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to interact with me on socials, you can find all of those links in my link tree / Rice BOYYY TV. And yeah, some stuff coming down the pipeline before the end of this year. Please be on the lookout. We'll be posting some Let's Plays as well as some reviews very, very soon.
Get stoked. Go check out Rice in all the places. And of course, you can find myself here at Console Creatures and more of my writing at butwhythough.net. Everybody, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate you as always. Stay safe, take care of one another, and we'll see you next week. Peace.